Man United made it a perfect 3-4-3 to start the Premier League season as they cruised past Leicester City. Shaka Hislop says Man United's early season form is the best they've looked since being managed by Sir Alex Ferguson. Shaka Hislop says Man United's early season form is the best they've looked since being managed by Sir Alex Ferguson. Man United made it a perfect 3-4-3 to start the Premier League season as they cruised past Leicester City. Manchester, England. As Manchester United's players loaded the penalty area for the corner kick that would break Leicester's resistance, Jose Mourinho wandered over to Craig Shakespeare and patted him on the back. Perhaps it was the continuation of a private joke with his opposite number, perhaps it was to signal his admiration at the constant touchline cajoling that had, by and large, done the trick during 70 minutes of mounting frustration for the home team. Or perhaps, somehow, Mourinho knew what was coming. Within seconds Marcus Rashford had evaporated the nerves and most of the doubt, too. Nobody would cast this as United's finest performance, but that would be beside the point. Last season they were drawing games like this. They would batter teams that set up at Old Trafford to snatch a draw only to come away shaking their heads, and it cost them a place in the top four. This time, though, the pressure brought a solution in the form of a 20-win, and if that becomes a recurring theme, then United will be serious title contenders. Game cost lineups and stats. We didn't have many matches last season where we played 90 minutes with the control we had today, Mourinho said in his post-match news conference. There were plenty where they failed to put defensive opponents to the sword, though, and when Romelu Lukaku missed from the penalty spot early in the second half, the mind turned to a prime example last March when Zlatan Ibrahimovic failed from the spot against 10-man Bournemouth in a 11 draw that was characteristic of United's ills. This time around, there was never quite the sense that Lukaku's miss, or, put more charitably, Kasper Schmeichel's fine save would derail United. Mourinho noted that his team kept up the pressure in the immediate aftermath, avoiding the little collapse that such a disappointment can bring. While it did embolden Leicester enough for Riyad Mahrez to fire a couple of rare shots on goal, the United manager had a point. They were never seriously under the caution. The impression was that further openings would come. Were Leicester dangerous against Arsenal when they lost 43? Yes, Mourinho observed. I watched the match 3 times. Were they dangerous against us? No, because of us. United have struggled for a clear pattern of play in recent years. If we sideline Louis van Gaal's sterile possession football as an experiment that failed, but one appears to be emerging, and it was the key to the dominance here. Its heartbeat is in the centre of midfield, an area where United have too often been bland but now look physically and technically imposing. Nemanja Matic and Paul Pogba overwhelmed Wilfred Ndidi and Matty James on both counts. Ndidi is a particularly fine prospect but looked cowed here, shrinking in comparison to his counterparts and compounding a difficult afternoon by failing to pick up Rashford for the opener. Matic's stability gives Pogba the scope he needs to roam and create, and in the first half, the France international found space for 7 shots on goal of varying danger. There is more clarity to United's shape and style at the moment. There was also a better tempo with the ball than they displayed against mass defensive ranks during 201,617. Anthony Martial produced a lively performance in his first start of the campaign, and it was eventually enough to wear Leicester down. Man United didn't let a missed penalty stop them from rolling to victory versus Leicester, its title-winning stuff. Against that, it is fair to point out that the plan A didn't work perfectly. Rashford was introduced for Juan Mata 3 minutes before his goal because his possession-based approach was waning in effectiveness, and Mourinho wanted a runner with and without the ball to combine with Lukaku. Mourinho didn't even see Rashford score, having turned his attention from Shakespeare to the planned introduction of Jesse Lingard. Had he not been able to shuffle his pack so effectively, it is conceivable that Leicester, marshalled by the outstanding Harry Maguire, would have held out. We knew we'd have to frustrate Man United coming here, said Shakespeare. For large chunks of the game, 70 to 75 minutes, we frustrated and restricted. But the big moments, they capitalized on. The latter point told the tale. A corner and a deflection, regardless of whether or not Marwan Fellaini intended to score. United's second are not sexy ways to win a football match, but the best teams find different ways to get the job done. Henrik Mkhitaryan's flag kick delivery, his fifth assist of the season already, was exceptional, and Rashford's clip past Schmeichel was unerring. It was not the exhilarating exploitation of space that eventually overwhelmed both West Ham and Swansea, mind you, but nobody who saw Leicester retreat ever deeper from kick-off could have expected it to be. Even if frayed edges remain, the feeling of gathering momentum at United is palpable. Mourinho knows well the benefits of a fast start and now wants everyone around him on board. His final piece of touchline theatre, within moments of Fellaini's goal, was to cup his ears and shrug his shoulders at the supporters in the stand behind him. "The crowd was very quiet today," he complained afterward. "Maybe there have been a few too many false dawns at Old Trafford in the past half-decade to rouse Mourinho's public just yet, but the manner in which the team have purred through the first 3 games suggests that United are creating something worth putting the weight behind." Nick Ames is a football journalist who writes for ESPN FC on a range of topics. Twitter at NickAmes82. Page 2. Man United made it a perfect 3-4-3 to start the Premier League season as they cruised past Leicester City. Shaka Hislop says Man United's early season form is the best they've looked since being managed by Sir Alex Ferguson. Shaka Hislop says Man United's early season form is the best they've looked since being managed by Sir Alex Ferguson. Man United made it a perfect 3-4-3 to start the Premier League season as they cruised past Leicester City. Manchester, England. As Manchester United's players loaded the penalty area for the corner kick that would break Leicester's resistance, Jose Mourinho wandered over to Craig Shakespeare and patted him on the back. Perhaps it was the continuation of a private joke with his opposite number, perhaps it was to signal his admiration at the constant touchline cajoling that had, by and large, done the trick during 70 minutes of mounting frustration for the home team. Or perhaps, somehow, Mourinho. English Premier League. Marwan Fellaini 82, Manchester United 20, Leicester. English Premier League. Marcus Rashford 70, Manchester United 10, Leicester. Manchester 3. Quick thoughts as Manchester United beat Leicester City 20 at Old Trafford. 1. Man United made to work for third win. You cannot win every game 40, of course, but in a game that might have ended 0-0 last season, Manchester United still found a way to come out on top. They were made to work by Leicester, and it wasn't until the 70th minute that Marcus Rashford came off the bench to break the deadlock. Another substitute, Marwan Fellaini, added a second 8 minutes from. A 97th-minute goal from Raheem Sterling gives Man City a 21 win at Bournemouth. A 97th-minute goal from Raheem Sterling gave Man City an undeserved 21 win at Bournemouth. Shaka Hislop says Manchester City are still far from the finished product despite the last-gasp win at Bournemouth. Shaka Hislop says Manchester City are still far from the finished product despite the last-gasp win at Bournemouth. Pep Guardiola expresses his strong disagreement with Raheem Sterling's second yellow card for his late goal celebration. English Premier League. Raheem Sterling 909, Bournemouth 12, Manchester City. Bournemouth, England. Manchester City left it late to secure a hard-fought 21 win at Bournemouth, but how they needed all 3 points on what might have otherwise have been a troubling day on the south coast. 1. Sterling saves the day. Raheem Sterling's late strike broke Bournemouth's hearts but delighted the supporters after damaging reports of a rift between manager Pep Guardiola and striker Sergio Aguero. Sterling was dismissed shortly afterward, apparently for going into the crowd to celebrate. Liverpool left no doubt who was the better side at Anfield as the Reds blast Hoffenheim 42. Liverpool 3. Quick thoughts from Anfield as Liverpool beat Hoffenheim 42 on Wednesday in the second leg of the playoff 63 on aggregate to reach the group stages of the Champions League. 1. Liverpool cruise into UCL group stage. This was one of Jurgen Klopp's biggest matches as Liverpool manager, and even with the unthinkable pressure if they had lost, his side wrapped up the victory within the first 20 minutes. Liverpool are back in the group stages of the Champions League for only. Wayne Rooney opened the scoring with his 200th Prem goal, but Raheem Sterling earned City a share of the points with his late volley. Wayne Rooney opened the scoring with his 200th Prem goal, but Raheem Sterling earned Man City a share of the points with his late volley. The FC panel believe both Everton and Man City will take away positives from the hard-fought 11 draw at the Etihad. Pep Guardiola says he won't discuss Kyle Walker's red card because he wants to manage Manchester City at Bournemouth. Manchester, England. It says something when a £220 million summer spending spree, more than half of which has been invested on new defenders, results in a team playing the first home game of the season with a left winger asked to play as a wing-back. But that is the reality of Manchester City under Pep Guardiola at the start of the 201,718 campaign. In total, Guardiola has spent just short of £400 million on new players since taking charge as manager in June 2016, but the tactical confusion. Wayne Rooney opened the scoring with his 200th Prem goal, but Raheem Sterling earned City a share of the points with his late volley. Wayne Rooney opened the scoring with his 200th Prem goal, but Raheem Sterling earned Man City a share of the points with his late volley. The FC panel believe both Everton and Man City will take away positives from the hard-fought 11 draw at the Etihad. Wayne Rooney reacts to joining Alan Shearer in the Premier League's 200-goal club after Everton's draw at Manchester City. Raheem Sterling felt Man City were hard done by Kyle Walker's red card, but was satisfied to bring his side level late on. Manchester, England. 3 quick thoughts from Manchester City's 11 draw versus Everton at the Etihad Stadium on Monday night. 1. Man City, Everton settle for a point. Wayne Rooney continued to silence his doubters in an Everton shirt, as Manchester City gave further ammunition to those who wonder when they will finally get it right under Pep Guardiola. Rooney's 200th Premier League goal. He also scored his 50th and 150th Premier League goals against City, looked set to earn Everton